soldier. You're about to jump into a galaxy of opportunity, wealth, destruction, and death. If you are adequately prepared, you are far less likely to die violently on the battlefield.
On the surface, Dust 514 is easy to get excited about. The free-to-play first-person shooter boasts a sense of permanence instead of merely focusing on kill-death ratios and diamond skin guns. Its connection to EVE Online seems like a perfect way to get people interested in a massive and complex universe without having them learn one of the most complicated MMOs on the market. It may have started with noble goals, but the fight to bridge the console game to the PC world feels like a lost cause.
NCC shield damage 50%.
Dust 514 doesn't make a good first impression. After picking your character's race and name, you enter your merc quarters, where you can acquire skills, purchase weapons, and talk to other players. No sooner than you arrive, though, you're bombarded with tutorial screens. Rather than present the information piece by piece and letting players learn as they go, Dust 514 shoves an entire manual's worth of tiresome text in your face and leaves it up to you to study on your own time.
Your war begins long before the first shot is fired.
Perhaps this method of learning would be more acceptable if the information was unique or interesting, but it isn't. There are essentially two important things for your character to consider: fittings and skills. With each fitting, players can equip a main weapon, sidearm, grenades, dropsuit, modifiers, modules, and equipment. It's not as empowering as it sounds. For example, dropsuits function like armor, which sounds neat, until you realize it doesn't radically change the gameplay. You can equip light, medium, and heavy dropsuits, each providing your character with different health, movement speed, melee damage, and more. Numbers simply move up or down a bit, and your character ends up feeling like a modified spreadsheet rather than a powerful soldier. The benefits are so minor, it just doesn't feel like it matters which suit you select.
This equipment must be purchased from the marketplace and will not be returned to you should you lose consciousness.
The worst aspects of fittings is that they aren't permanent. Outside of a few basic options you get at the start of the game, every fitting you create has a number attached to it that ticks down every time you die. Once it does, you're out of luck until you restock the fitting. This would be fine if it only applied to fittings you spend in-game resources on. However, it also applies to fittings containing items acquired using real cash. If you dropped $5 on a sniper rifle and die a certain number of times, that rifle is out of commission until you dish out more dough. It's a devious way for players to waste money over and over again.
Objective E. Virus upload complete.
Skills are equally frustrating. Say you want to reduce bullet dispersion when using assault rifles. Instead of simply gaining ranks in that skill, you have to first buy the weaponry skill with in-game currency, then put 3 ranks into it to unlock light weapons. And there, you'll find assault rifles. You're spending points to unlock something that will let you unlock something else. It's the bad kind of grind and a complete waste. The entire skill tree is structured in such a way that you're constantly dumping points into things you don't care about to get to what you really want.
Be the mercenary of tomorrow, today.
Fittings and skills are unquestionably disappointing, but actually playing the game is a complete letdown. It's all very by the numbers, and this is especially true of the game modes. There's Ambush, which is basic team deathmatch, and Skirmish, a Battlefield-esque capture the control points mode. If you've played similar modes in countless first-person shooters, Dust offers absolutely nothing new.
Destroy hostile MCC.
Just like the game modes, the starting weapons you'll wield in Dust are boring. The standard assault rifle, for example, lacks any sort of convincing power and sounds more like a cheap toy than a futuristic killing machine. That doesn't mean there isn't any fun to be had with Dust's arsenal. The Ashborn Scrambler rifle, for example, is a semi-automatic laser weapon that allows you to charge shots before firing and is capable of a high amount of damage. Sadly, it's locked behind a paywall and only available to those willing to crack their wallets. You can acquire similarly interesting weapons using only in-game resources, but be prepared to spend a considerable amount of time and effort with rote, point-and-shoot grinding.
Short on time, short on skill. Purchase borrow today.
Unless you're already deeply involved with EVE Online and its social infrastructure, the fact that the two games are connected doesn't mean much. EVE players can have Dust players fight on their behalf, potentially earning land and resources. However, this is hardly noticeable for Dust players. There's just no sense of connection to a larger conflict, and battles never feel like more than a trumped-up standard match.
Final call for all mercs.
If you decide to press yourself into service to experience the limited pleasures of Dust's completely unremarkable battles, you'll find it hard not to wonder what could have been. So much potential turned into so much dull shooting. Instead of an experience that's been richly integrated into EVE Online, we're left with a Me Too shooter that's eager to take and unwilling to give, doing very little to justify its own existence. It may be technically free, but it isn't worth even a minute of your time.
Mission failed. Clone reserves depleted. Commencing TACnet shutdown.
See all of our shows and game reviews now on the brand new GT app on Xbox Live, and the GT Originals iOS app too.